Ever feel trapped in a high paying job that drains your soul? What if your career could feel fulfilling and still provide the income and impact you want? In today's episode, I sit down with career reinvention coach Rachel Speckman to unpack why careers are for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, how to pivot your career without sacrificing financial security, and small mindset shifts to release burnout and reignite joy. Mama, you don't have to settle for a job that drains you. Let's find your aligned next step together. Tune in now. Hey, Mama, welcome to Career Growth for Working Moms. If you're stuck in a job that doesn't fit or burning out trying to do it all, you're in the right place. I'm Shannon, a career coach and fellow working mom. Here, you'll get simple career strategies and strength-based leadership tips to help you grow with clarity and confidence. So grab your coffee or reheat it for the third time, and let's do this. Hello and welcome. I'm so excited to have Rachel Speckman with me today. Rachel is a career reinvention coach with a rich background spanning 15 years in brand marketing, 10 years supporting female startup founders, and 5 years as a therapist. Rachel specializes in helping high performance women who feel unfulfilled by their careers tap into their unique gifts and align their work with their values and purpose without sacrifice income or impact. She believes careers can be for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, and that it's possible to trade in a high paid but soul sucking job for a career that feels aligned and fulfilling. Rachel, welcome to the show. I'm so excited for this conversation today because I know my listeners are going to enjoy this.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here, and hello to the listeners.
So, your journey combines marketing, startup coaching, therapy. How did you lead? How did that lead you to focus on helping women reinvent their careers?
Yeah, so briefly, I always explain that I am an educator by nature and by training. So I started my career as a teacher,
Okay.
and I want to really be mindful of giving your audience tips as they're listening right now. From the beginning, I have been what lights me up and what drains me. What lights me up and what drains me. And that can actually be one and the same. And then you're like, well, what do I do? So I started my career in teaching. Children lit me up, but the classroom environment actually drained me.
Yeah, I can see
And so
that.
I realized, well, I like working with children, but I don't want to be in this environment in particular. So I
Mhm.
made a tweak. And so I started working in nonprofits with kids. And
Okay.
then all of a sudden I said, well, actually, what's lighting me up right now is that I like running meetings. I like running big projects. I like scaling what we're doing internationally. I started following that.
Wow.
And then from there, I realized I was working at a women's mentoring nonprofit. I started doing an MBA focused on women's leadership. And that's how I really started to understand that if we're going to close the achievement gap, close the wage gap, these kinds of things specifically around women as it relates to confidence, imposter syndrome, doing it all, second shift at home, third shift with the house, etc. We really have to dial deeply into what motivates and moves us.
Yes. Well, what advice would you give to these women listening who may be feeling trapped between their financial security and their happiness or fulfillment with their jobs?
Yeah. So I everyone I work with, I say it's not a light switch. It's not like tomorrow you're going to wake up and oh, now I'm in a full soul fulfilling career and this is done. And we have to think about pivots and we have to think about what kind of change we want to make.
Mhm.
So depending on how stuck you are and how long you've been stuck for, I encourage everyone to start thinking about do they want to make a small, medium, or large change?
Mm.
Okay. I call it the
Yeah.
McDonald's of career change, but it's really true.
No, that's true.
Small is I'm a little unhappy, but it's paying well. All right, how can I do more things in my community or how can I do more things that tap into my soul connection?
Right.
People are like, how could I do more? Well, more generally, if it's the right kind of more, it's the fulfilling kind of more. So it
Right.
doesn't feel like more, it doesn't feel like another to do.
Right.
Um, Medium is I don't really like what I'm doing and I really don't like the environment I'm doing it in. but you know what? There's something here. I've worked really hard. I don't want to make a major shift right now because my kids are this age or because of that. So, how do I change it a little bit? How do I ask for an internal promotion? How do I make a move to a different industry or, I'm sorry, industry adjacent?
Hmm.
And a large shift is everything feels off. I have Sunday scaries, Monday scaries, Tuesday scaries. I've got to make some radical changes because my physical health is deteriorating, my mental health, I am not my best authentic self. I have made changes that are small, medium, and large. I
Hmm.
help people make those kinds of decisions, and then you have to calculate your risk for each of those kinds of changes, depending on how stuck you are emotionally, your financial needs at that time, etc.
Yes, I can see that. I love that little McDonald's, the small, medium, large. And then how does that all even relate maybe to burnout? Because you mentioned the mental and the physical health impacts. And I know like that also burnout is one of those huge impacts. So what maybe signs should our listeners be looking for that before it gets to that point of extreme burnout or an extreme physical or mental breakdown in
Mhm.
some way?
Okay, so I coach to what I call the 80% rule.
Okay.
And I try to have people be 80% excited about what they're doing. That means 80% excited about your relationship,
Hmm.
80% excited about your friendships, 80% excited about where you live. People say 80%, that's so high. It's like, well, if we have kids, would we let our kids be like enjoy school 20%, 30%? No, we'd want to help them to get to a higher percentage. So that's
Right.
aspirational. So I'll start with asking the listeners, well, what percent enjoyment are you?
Hmm.
And then start thinking, okay, well, that I always think about burnout physically as a candle and sort of
Right.
it being dim, dim, dim.
Right.
What's one little thing I can do to light it back up just a little bit? So
Hmm.
I have back-to-back meetings. I'm going to take a 5-minute break between meetings and I'm going to touch my toes and I'm going to listen to a song that pumps me up and
Right.
I'm going to call a friend or text them something funny. That already is getting your candle a little bit more lit and back
I love that.
online. So
I
we
love
have
that.
to, instead of again, kind of that big switch, making big changes, which sometimes we do need to,
Right.
depending on if life throws us into different circumstances. But 99% of the time, it's little tweaks we can make to
Hmm.
keep getting back to our 80% or to go from 20% to 21%
Right.
or 50 to 55%. And
I love.
I invite everyone to do what I call a joy audit. Like, what are the 5 to 10 things that you're doing right now that give you joy? And
Hmm.
how can you do more of them? I tell people all the time, like I do three cartwheels a day. I do it every morning.
It's awesome.
I started doing it in the pandemic because I was like, I don't have control over anything, but I like doing cartwheels.
It's awesome.
Okay, so that's something that gives me just a little bit of joy. It doesn't
Right.
have to be cartwheels to you or one cartwheel. It could be, I love watching this show for 10 minutes a day. I love
Hmm.
reading this book. I like writing on a blog, something that feels generative for you. Because
Yes.
just the same way that burnout kind of fuels burnout, excitement fuels excitement as well.
Yes, I love to go outside in the grass and walk barefoot sometimes for like 10 minutes. That's what I do in the mornings. That's just my thing.
Exactly. And like everybody has their own quirks. And so the more you can dial into your own, on my LinkedIn, I actually post career quirks all the time.
Oh, I love
And the
it.
more that you can own your own professional quirks, personal quirks, like, yeah, that makes us who we are.
Yes, definitely. So, what about those women that might be under the belief that their reputation would be damaged or it would be seen as a failure for changing careers? How would you navigate or guide these women to change that mindset?
Yeah, that's a lot of the career coaching work I do is because I'm a therapist, is
Mhm.
where does that belief system come from? We do a lot of unpacking, like what is prestige? Prestige to who? According to whom? Right?
Right.
These kind of big belief systems. And I'm not saying we're going to tear them all down because we live in the world that we live in. We have the systems that we came from. But to answer your question, I would really encourage people who are listening to think this is what I say. We all go to sleep on our own pillow at the end of the night.
Right.
And most of the time, other people, yes, you want to maintain a reputation, as we all do, a prestige. And a lot of the time, people aren't thinking about us. We have to be
That
looking
is
out for
true.
ourselves. And if all day long I go and I make presentations and I make everybody happy and I do all these things, but I put my head down on my pillow and I say I had a miserable day,
Hmm.
really, what's that reputation for? It's not aligned with what drives you internally. Again,
Right.
I'm not saying throw everything out, but really start interrogating, where does that belief system come from and how is it serving me? And how
Right.
is it aligning with my vision for my life right now? Because the more you can start to get clarity around that and subtly shift your mindset around I'm doing what makes me happy first,
Right.
all of a sudden, I can't tell you, I've had that own transformation for myself. People will turn around, wait, that's so radical. How are you doing that? I want to do that. You're actually building a reputation in a very different way that's much more authentic to who you are.
Right.
And then you start thinking about like what you're attracting,
Hmm.
what actually lights you up. People are going to be drawn to that instead of what drains you.
Exactly. I love that because you're right. Like if it's lighting you up, they're going to be drawn to that no matter what. And that again, the excitement feeds excitement. Like they see you're passionate and you're so excited and they're going to feel that from you and they're going to want that and want to be attracted to that energy.
Exactly. And it is this scarcity abundance mindset. And I'm not saying one or the other. And I'm not, I'm trying to be really mindful of we have to live within the world that we live in.
Right.
And as I step more and more into what I'm excited about, and I tell people, people are like, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know that. Oh, I want you to come speak here. Oh, I want you to talk at this thing. I'm like, I didn't even know that would be an option.
Right.
But it's because I'm tapping into more of what I love to do, and it is coming towards me. I'm attracting it. And
Yeah.
everyone has that within themselves.
Yes, yes, they do. Yes, I love that. I love that. So we talked about in the intro that you have believe that careers are for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Can you explain what that really means and maybe how it impacts these career moms that are listening?
Yeah. So I think the original statement is relationships come into our life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
Uh-huh.
And I think things like relationship, careers, money, we're constantly in relationship with these things. It's not a fixed mindset. It's not, oh, I'm friends with that person forever and then I'm done. Right?
Right.
No, your child is a day older than they were yesterday. Everything
Mhm.
is changing all of the time. And so when we think about our careers, thinking about what is the reason I'm doing this? Financial security, flexibility, X, Y, and Z. Well, what's the season? Oh, I'm in this season of life where I need these kinds of people around me, or I
Mhm.
don't need these kinds of people around me.
Right.
And then when we think about a lifetime, what actually motivates us? I actually want some of the projects, I'm sorry, some of the exercises I do with clients is what has motivated you since childhood? What is that
Mhm.
real, pure, organic? Like you have all day, you're going to go out and do this thing. You're going to go create lemonade stands. Okay, well, you love being entrepreneurial. You love being in front of people. How
Right.
do we tap into what has actually driven us for our lifetimes? So I think really what that does, the career, the reason, season, and lifetime, is it gives us permission to kind of just get out of the this is what I'm doing. This is my box. This is my
Right.
job right now. It will be my job forever. That can be a place of dread and a place of sorrow for a lot of people who feel
Yeah.
trapped.
Right.
And I will tell, okay, no, you're doing this for until your kid hits daycare. You're doing this until your stocks vest. You're doing this until whenever. That's your reason and your season right now.
Right.
Now we can start to think about, well, what's coming up for your lifetime? What are you going to get excited about as you continue to kind of engage in this reason season right now?
I love that. I love how you reframe that because I know there have been times where I've been, I don't want to be stuck in this. I don't want to be doing this all the time in this job. And then a friend said, but this is just the season you're in. You're it's gonna ebb and flow and this is just temporary. And I'm like, oh, that allowed me to release that dread as much and be able to still go in and give my best and do my best and know that there was something else later for me, but this was what I needed, where I needed to be in that moment, I guess.
And that, and I have two kids who are 6 and 2, and we were just traveling, and it was like meltdown city at the airport. And this
Yes.
very kind gentleman turned to me. I mean, you could have heard us 2 terminals away, my child. And he said, and he literally just a stranger turned to me and he said, "You're in it right now, and you won't be forever."
Yeah.
And I just I don't know who he was. Thank you to who, if he's listening. But it just really helped me kind of, okay, I'm in it right now. And a year
Yeah.
from now, I'm not going to be in this moment, or it's going to be a
Yeah.
different moment. So it
It's going to
really
be.
gave me permission to just feel my feelings and then say, okay, we're moving on.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Well, this has been a wonderful conversation. Rachel, where's the best place for the listeners to connect with you?
My website is my name, rachelspekman.com, Spekman, no C in my last name. I'm sure you can link it.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so I work with people on reinventing themselves, reinventing their careers. I call it reverse engineering your career journey so that it fits who you are for this reason, season, or lifetime that you're in.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And before we wrap up, I always love to ask my guests to leave my listeners with one small but powerful action step that they can make today. So what would you challenge them to do?
Okay, so I would challenge everyone who's listening to do what I call either a daily audit or a joy audit, as I talked about
Mhm.
earlier, and to think, I hate doing, let's say I have to fold the laundry every day and I hate doing it, and it's a 2 on my scale. What's one way I could make it a 3? I could play my favorite song while I do it. I could do it while I FaceTime my best friend. Okay, you're going to move it from a 2 to a 3. You might still have to do it.
Right.
Or you love doing something. I love blogging. Okay, well, how can I make it from an 8 to a 9? I'm going to do a writing circle with my friends and blog once a month or something like that. So
Right.
just really trying to be creative about how do you continue to dial up the things that we have to do to
Right.
enjoy it more.
Yes.
And that's my suggestion. And then we could work together, and you could do that for your resume. You could do that for all the things in your life so that you're really thinking through, how do I enjoy what I'm doing every single day more?
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much for being here, Rachel.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, Working Mama. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds to share it with a friend who's stuck in her career but doesn't want to sacrifice her family to grow? Also, please leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts. It seriously lights me up to know this show is helping you navigate burnout, find clarity, and lead with confidence. All right. Time to shut down my laptop and pretend I'm not hiding from folding that laundry. I'll meet you back here soon for another episode of Career Growth for Working Moms. You've got this.